Welcome back. Now, last night, ITVX and ITV1 began to tell the true story of the post office staff who found themselves accused of stealing thousands of pounds from post office branches.
Yeah, they were the unfortunate victims of a faulty IT system developed to make their lives easier, which actually left innocent people with criminal convictions and even time in prison.
The computer system Post Office spent an arm and a leg on is faulty.
No one else has ever reported any problems with Horizon. No one.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's gone.
These deficits were most likely caused by you. That is the post office case.
All our hopes, all our savings down the pan.
We are fighting a war against an enemy owned by the British government, while we're just skint little people.
This is about the reputation of the post office.
It's not, it's about people's lives, you moron.
Finally, 555 of us now, ready to tell our stories.
The producers of Mr Bates versus the Post Office turned to those who were caught up in the scandal to help make the show and wrote to Jeanette Skinner and Tracy Felstead, who are with us now. Thank you for joining us. A happy new year. I watched episode 1 and 2 last night and I just could not believe the injustice that were done to people like you. I mean, you both served time in prison during all this, which is... I mean, I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. When you watched the series, Jeanette, did it bring back a lot of emotional memories for you? Was it very similar as to what you actually went through?
When you listen to the stories, even though the stories are about individual people, all the stories end up the same. You told you're the only one that's having any issues. You can't account for the shortfalls. You've got to make good what's missing because it's your responsibility. The series and the drama will shed a light on for people who don't actually understand how long this has been ongoing, because this has been ongoing for like over 2 decades and still going.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you get sent to prison then, Jeanette?
To February 2007.
2007.
2000.
Yeah.
And Janet, I mean, look, all I could see last night on social media was everyone talking about this, just saying how well done this has actually been. The show, it feels so real to people. I was very lucky enough to meet Alan. I gave him his Pride of Britain award. And I spoke to him briefly about this. But just for those viewers at home that are watching this as an ITV drama, this was your life.
It is,
and
but
this
it still
was
is.
exactly, and it still is. So for those people at home, how did it feel for you when you're being told you're doing something wrong when you know you haven't?
When you're going up against an establishment like the Post Office, it was at the time it was owned by the Royal Mail. So there was the Royal Mail and the Post Office was a joint. And I think what they do is people don't believe what you're saying because you're up against the Crown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even down to, like, when the Post... I mean, I noticed on Joe Hamilton, when they posted on the wall, it was her against the Queen. When you look at your charge... when you're going up at court, that's how it's portrayed. So automatically a judge says, you've stolen from the Queen. So nobody believes what you're saying.
And Tracy, like, how hard was it, you know, being in your community, you know, where you grew up, and everybody's thinking that you're a thief?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I was only 19...
19.
...as well, it's difficult. It's, you know, we lost family friends, that... you know, actually thought that I'd stolen this money. And like Janet said, it's really hard to prove when you don't know what's gone wrong and you're stood there in a court of law trying to explain what's happened and you can't.
At any age, this is awful for anyone to go through. But for a 19-year-old girl to be told you're going to prison, you got a 6-month sentence, is that right?
I did, and I got sent to Holloway as well, so... What on
earth was going through your mind at this time? Because you knew I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I never... I wasn't pleading guilty to something I hadn't done.
Good.
There was no way I was pleading guilty to something that I hadn't done. But I stood my ground. But obviously, when you are, like Janet said, up against an establishment that are so big and, you know, you put your trust in the justice system as well, that everything will be OK. And it just didn't. You couldn't defend yourself.
Do you think you had harsher sentences because you pleaded not guilty?
I pleaded guilty.
Why did you plead guilty?
Because they said if I pleaded guilty to the false accounting, they would drop the theft and I wouldn't be looking at a custodial sentence. So, and I had two teenage kids. I couldn't go to jail, so I took the easy option and took the plea bargain that they offered.
You knew that you were innocent and you pleaded guilty. You were under that much pressure that you pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
But what was your time in prison like?
The first few weeks, I don't really remember a great deal about it. But then you just have to learn to adapt to the situation that you're in.
Let's fast forward to 2021.
Yep.
Them convictions finally been quashed, they've been overturned. Was that enough for you two?
It was but it was. Do you know what? If we could bottle that day and keep it, it was just like childbirth, and it was honestly, it was just the most amazing day.
Very surreal.
And cried a lot. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
You know when you all found each other because you'd realised that you're actually not alone. They kept telling you you're alone. You're the only person that this is happening to, and then you all found each other. You realised you weren't alone. What was that feeling like?
Surreal.
Surreal, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember going 2011, the first meeting I ever went to the JSFA, and walking and like they invite you to come down, and you think, oh, there's going to be 2-3 people there, but to walk in a room and then actually witness all those people there. For the first time, you could walk in somewhere and people are going to believe exactly what you're saying because they've gone through the same thing.
How does it feel now, knowing that you're sat here on this sofa, everyone knows the truth, everyone knows the story? If those bosses were in front of you now, what would you
We've
say?
spoken
well,
to
I mean,
them,
we've spoken to
with them.
the post office, and we've sat there and had a meeting with Nick. It's about getting justice now, and obviously, you know, the inquiry are doing that. We're going through the inquiry at the moment, trying to find out who knew what, when, and why this happened. But the accountability, somebody needs to be held accountable.
I mean, nobody can give you that time back that you've both served in prison, and nobody can give you those years back. You know, this has been going on for such a long time, and to go through that, the emotional trauma that has taken on you, is hard to try and evaluate that in compensation, isn't it? But have you had any compensation at all?
We've had interim payments, but everything's. People think, you know, you've had a conviction overturned, you'll just move forward, you've got compensation. But that's not the case. But each and every one of us individually have to fight individually for compensation. Well, and we're still fighting.
We know, obviously, they've give you guys a compensation package. A figure has been agreed. However, as Josie said, that's not going to take back the time that you had to go through this. We do have to read out, obviously, the right of reply from the Post Office. And they say, Department for Business and Trade spokesperson said, we recognise that for postmasters who have had to endure hardships or even jail time, no amount of compensation will ever be enough. But the payment option that we are giving aims to provide some sort of relief to those impacted. This £600,000 sum builds on the £21 million that's been paid out to postmasters with overturned convictions so far and provides a quicker, easier option for people who don't want to go through any further assessment or legal route to compensation. Now that you're in 2024 now, we should say, 2021 was the overturn. I know this has been going on for years. What's the future going to be for the pair of you now? Is this a moment that you can sit there and go, let's put this behind us?
No.
No, not yet.
No.
We can't yet, because we are still fighting. And there are many more of us that are still fighting.
Yeah. And there's some that haven't
actually got to the stage we're at. So it's really important to just keep... We need to keep fighting.
Well, hopefully this show helps you, you know, because it is spreading the story out there.
I mean, for want of a better term, it's a brilliant watch, but this is your real pain, you know.
It's hard.
But it's the only thing it's going to do is make people's understanding of what we're going, of what each and every one of us has gone through but also still going through.
I'm so sorry that this injustice has happened to you, but thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. And I really do hope this show helps you. You can catch, we caught it last night at 9 p.m. You can catch the second one tonight at 9 p.m. And it is all on ITVX if anybody wants to catch up with that. And it is a brilliant watch. It's done so well, and I really do hope it helps you.
Keep fighting a good fight, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely to meet you both. Happy New Year.